I yelled at a kid this morning, and after I did that, he cried. So how's everyone else doing?
Oh my God, Sarah. An article about the battle for our attention in the digital age was open on my phone for 2 weeks, and I still haven't read it. Hey, I got distracted.
Yeah, well, it happens. I reject time of day food. Okay, Heather? Pancakes for dinner, totally fine. Spaghetti for breakfast, also fine.
We're already halfway through this new year, and before we know it, we will be donning our party hats, ringing in the new year. Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives.
Marlena forever. Have such a good day. Hello, world,
and welcome
back to Have
Such a Good Day, the show that wants you to do just
that. I feel like we need to do like a Britney Spears-esque song about our intro.
We do. We really do. There's something,
like oops, we did it again.
Sarah, we got to work on this.
We had another episode. Yeah.
Episode 239, which is a Southern Florida area code, apparently. And here is a fun fact for you.
Oh, that is good intel.
I know. I have another little fun fact for you because I like to go down my little internet rabbit holes with these numbers because it's kind of fascinating. Every number has a significance.
Of course.
So this made my head spin. Apparently 239 is like two different kinds of prime numbers. One of them, they call it a Sophie Germain prime number, and then a Newman Shanks Williams prime number. And I'm like, what? And then it's 239 is also a happy number. And that was, so it's also a positive integer, which is cool. I don't really know why that's cool, but
prime numbers are cool. So 3, 9, 2,
but mathematicians
all good.
out there,
But
some of this stuff is Greek to me. Eisenstein prime with no imaginary part and real part of the form 3n-1 with no, what is all this mumbo jumbo? But I loved the part where they said 239 is a happy number. So there you have it.
239. That is, I find it soothing.
Y'all, welcome to the show.
Yes, welcome to the show, everybody. Before I talk about what wasn't soothing to me over the last 7 days since we all were here last, Heather and I love to do this show for our own sanity and hopefully also yours. Just kind of airing things out.
Airing out our dirty laundry, if you will.
Having some fun.
It's kind of like, we're a couple of buds who used to spend a lot of time at wine bars airing out our own personal, what's going on in our lives. And now we do it in show format. So it's like eavesdropping on a conversation between two friends. And who doesn't like doing that? I mean, come on.
Indeed. Some of you might be like, well, this isn't the show for me. And you know what? You have other options.
Yeah, you do. Okay? You got lots of options.
No, we're happy to have you. We always are. We try to make this as fun as possible. So Heather, I'm going to tell you a story that is not very fun. But it's okay. Everybody just buckle up. So this morning, I get up fairly early, walk the pup, feed the cat, come back from the walk, just like any parent, right? Come back, feed the pup, make sure that the cat and the dog are sort of comfy, doing well. They go to sleep, and then I start to work. So this morning, we've got tamale lady who comes by. There's a certain amount of just sort of general stuff that happens, on the street. Maybe it's garbage day, so that would be something that is sort of loud, or, somebody trying to sell me their tamales or, just stuff like that. This morning, I heard something weird. And, I'm in my office, and my office, all of the 4 windows in the office are we have like bamboo coverings on them, but you can still like
Yeah.
see the world outside, you know, but like I kind of sometimes look outside just being like, what's going on out there? And I'm like, I can sort of see it kind of thing. Anyway, I hear something weird. So, you know, I open up one of the windows, I look outside, and this is very strange, Heather. But so I've noticed this over maybe the last week. There are crows that have come into the neighborhood that were not here before. It probably is some migration thing. You know, something to do with, you know, I don't know, the weather, you know, temperature, who even knows. But the crows are crazy in the morning. Anyway, you know, what are you going to do? I mean, they live here too. This morning, there's yelling and screaming. So I look outside and there's a woman and her son, and that kid cannot be more than 6, maybe 7. And she's instructing the kid to kill a crow.
What? Wait, in what way?
Yeah.
In what words? Like, what did she say?
Kill it. Kill it.
What?
Kill it. Go, go, go. Yeah. And
That is crazy.
yes, it really is. And, you know,
Whoa.
she was not, you know, all there. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay.
But
How young was this kid?
6 or 7?
Wow.
And
That's
what's
horrible.
weird is, so in my front yard, like it's not like fenced off. Like we have like, you know, sort of, I don't know, you call it desert landscaping, right? But like
Okay,
they
yeah.
weren't in my yard. They were in the neighbor's yard, but they were in the neighbor's yard. They do not live there. I know who my neighbors are. And she's telling me like, get the crow, kill it. And I was like, you know, I not going down there because I would not win against her in a fight. But I was like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm calling the cops. Get out of here. And she was like,
You said that
"Fuck
out the window?
you." Yeah. Well, I yelled it out the window. But
Yeah.
the kid kind of like, you know, and he was hurting this crow. He was.
Oh,
I don't know what
my
happened to the
God.
crow. But at the point that I stepped in, because I'm not going down there, but, you know, I wanted them to know, like, this cannot stand. The kid looked up at me and kind of looked at me like, I'm so sorry. And I
Really?
honestly, like, Heather, it really made me so sad. It made me so sad just knowing that there are just so many kids in the world who are just dragged into these weird scenarios with adults, you know?
And they have no choices.
And they
have to
no.
be
I
there.
mean, I swear, if I would have been like, "Do you want to come upstairs?" He would have been like, "Yes, you're my new mother." You know, like I could see it in his eyes, and I was just like, I can't. You know, I can't go down there. You know, Otis is freaking out.
What a
It was
horrible
the whole
thing to witness.
It
I
was.
mean, and I can't even believe the kid could catch the crow.
I don't really know what happened. You know, because by the time there was a lot of yelling going on, by the time I figured out what was going on, I was just sort of like, you know, pretty distressed. But my downstairs neighbor, they sort of went on their merry way, and she texted me and was like, "What the fuck was that?" And I'm like, I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't know what happened. I just wanted, you know, I wanted them out of here. You know, that's danger situation. Like you can't have people like murdering birds on the street. Like, oh my God.
I would assume that's something you can get arrested for. I would hope.
Well, I mean, by the time I called, you know, I mean, in this neighborhood, nah, not happening. But yeah, it was. I'm telling you, it really it made me sad, and at the same time, it made me really happy to know that there are a lot of people who this is not going to be like an animal welfare thing, but like people who love animals and also people who wouldn't do that to a kid.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And both
like
of those
twofold.
things are awesome. And, you know, I am sorry for anybody who goes through anything like that.
Yeah.
Period.
I know. I wish that I could. I mean, I always have these fantasies about like, how could I just, know when an animal is in trouble and just like go there and help it and save it. And it's like, how can you do that? There's maybe there's going to be some technology down the line, but it's really hard because, you don't really know. People don't respect animals like we do. I think not everybody really respects them and thinks that they don't feel things and that they don't. And putting this on a child is a whole nother level. I'm sorry. That sounds really traumatic.
I'm sorry too, and I'm sorry to bring in something like to this otherwise very sunny podcast. But life happens sometimes. Life happens in episode 239. So so what's going on with you, Heath?
Yeah, we're airing out our dirty laundry in this show, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But it has to be, there has to be some bad to balance out the good. So lots of stuff is going on. It's kind of a more mellow week for me because we're kind of getting toward the end of the month, but we're not there yet. So I don't get as much like mail for the business. So I've been sort of carving out other things that I've been needing to catch up on. I'm kind of making my own like fun and my own work. And I'm trying really hard not to be restless. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job because I'm kind of here for a little bit. Like I'm here for a while for the next, for this month and most of next month. And I mean, for the most part, unless something pops up. And so I'm kind of trying to just like work on stuff that I've been wanting to do that I've been putting off. Like take my car in and do some writing and read a book. Mm-hmm. And I think, when I'm in this type of routine that can be Groundhog's Day, like a little rote, because you're kind of like you're at home and I'm just doing my regular thing. This is where I get restless because it's a little bit too regular. I just try to lean into making my own fun. Because like cleaning and doing laundry and doing your regular exercise, and it can just start to feel really.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I love cleaning. On a Saturday, I'm like, okay, for the next 5 hours, we're gonna just like clean all surfaces.
We're gonna scrub the walls.
You feel so much better afterwards, but like it's not like fun.
No,
it's just something that you want to be happy when it's over.
Yeah, like for example, I've been wanting to like not detail my car because that sounds so like detailed. It's more like just clean some of the inside because I like spilled
in the crevices
like a chocolate ice cream in the cup and it like stuck and got like all caked on, and then some pterodactyl like pooped in the air while I was driving on the freeway 60 miles an hour, and it splattered on the side of my like passenger window. But I'm telling you, this was a pterodactyl. It was the biggest bird doo-doo I've ever seen. Hard to get off.
Weird that there are pterodactyls still.
I know. They're making
the
a
air
comeback
above us. Yeah.
So I just like little things like that where I'm like, oh man, I got to get that pterodactyl shit off my window. And then I'm also the observational humor is kind of my go-to. Like just kind of having fun. Like I'm making a smoothie in the kitchen, and then my trusty CD player turns on when you turn the blender on or you turn the kettle on, and you laugh at it and you just like, oh, CD player, you're cute. Just fun little things like that.
I don't actually understand that. How would the CD player turn on when your blender turns on?
It is the cutest little thing.
It's just like a weird, just
it's a
something
standalone
electric.
CD player. Yeah,
in
it's
the
something
house.
electric, and
Yeah.
it feels a vibration, and it's
That
very
is
bizarre.
cute. That is actually pretty cute. Yeah.
It's very cute. It really has a mind of its own, and I really feel like it's alive. And so Elijah bought it on Amazon. We've had it for years. It was like $12. It's not a nice piece of machinery, but it has a lot of cute little sounds.
If it works, it
It's
works.
actually it's a really cool little thing. Like I should write a review on it because it's kind of great. And you can listen to the radio on it, and every little mode, like if you're in the radio mode or the CD mode, it's like it makes all these cool, like almost kind of like old school, like 80s like sounds. But the fact that it turns on when it feels like it is amazing. I'll just be like boiling water in my electric tea kettle, and it'll
it's
turn
like,
on while I'm waiting for it
would
to
you
boil. I'm
like
like,
to
oh, hello.
listen to something?
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's like, hey,
it's
let's-
like, I'm
It's
here too. That's actually kind of cute. Yeah, it's like a
so
sentient
cute.
CD
It
bean.
is sentient.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. And as I'm making my own fun, I'm also making my own work, because I think, Sarah, I think you'll relate to this. As you get to a certain stage in your career and in your life, you kind of have less patience doing something you don't want to do to like bring home the bacon. You want to care about your work, right? Because you're doing it every single day.
Yeah.
And it's something that you
Yeah.
just want to enjoy. So I know that you do that with your work. You make pods about things that you enjoy. And I'm currently, as I've mentioned before, and I will mention again, I'm at the very early stages of working on making something out of this family autobiography that's a real book. It's very thick, that my great-grandmother wrote about a love story between her and a man, a radical liberal journalist during World War II. It spans
And this
many
would be
countries.
your grandfather's
great-grandma.
parents.
This is my dad's grandparents.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and the whole family. It's not just about them. It's about like my family. My dad was born in Japan, and this whole thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. There's a military aspect. It's all crazy.
There's like spy. There's a spy thing. They hung out with like Max Planck and Einstein, and like there's all this crazy stuff. So anyway, it's fodder that's sitting under my nose and has been for years. And I tried working on it many years ago. It's really hard because there's so much content. So I'm working on this. I'm working with a screenwriter in LA. I'm getting close to kicking something off. I talked to the agent last week. She has an agent, and I'm putting together a deal memo. And I got several of my uncles on board because we have to invest in it. But it's something that I want to invest in because it is something I care about, and it's work that will be fun for me because it's something that is personal. And so I've been working on actually copywriting it, because it's not even it's in the public domain. So like I want to copyright it. It's actually a little harder than I thought. These bureaucratic websites are so buggy. I'm struggling even like setting up an account on the website, but I've made some progress, and I would like to. I have some goals set for this week, but yeah, I'm trying to make the work that I want to do. So that's kind of the theme of my life right now. And it's also really nice weather finally. And I'm feeling better about my digs, and
Good.
just, I don't know, like some friends are coming to visit. Like we've got some fun plans this year.
Yeah. You're feeling good. You got the vitamin
Yeah.
D energy.
I got the vitamin D, and I'm working on my big birthday for the end of the year, and just fun things to look forward to. So that's that. How about you, Sarah? Other than your weird crow experience this morning.
The crow experience, and I will say, that was a very, very strange situation. However, there is something going on with the crows. When I used to live in Venice, I'm talking about Venice, California, like in Los Angeles, at the beach, not in Italy. I had a lot of crows who just would like wake me up every morning, sitting on the telephone wires, just rah, rah, rah. Crows they're loud and, barky. And, crows are not my favorite bird, but I love birds. You gotta,
Same.
we all have to live in, relative harmony. And
I think so too.
And
we have to
when
respect animals.
Exactly. When I moved here, and I now have lived here almost 6 months, which is wild to me because I feel like I moved in like 2 seconds ago. But, time is a flat circle. So when I first, like, because where I am in my office right now, I'm in, I'm close to the street. Not that it's super loud, but like that's where, my bedroom is on the other side of the house. And this is like a cavernous apartment where like the bedroom is kind of far from where I am right now. Like I could be like screaming and somebody like, if they had the door closed in the bedroom, they'd be like, never heard ya. We haven't tested this, but just saying, just to get, lay of the land. But and for that reason, because my bedroom is kind of like just sort of tucked in the back, like there's nothing back there besides like where we all park our cars and some neighbors that aren't loud, whatever. It's like it's very quiet. Over the last, I would say, let's call it 10 days. The crows have descended. And I don't know what, like, where were they? I don't know. But the crows, at 6:30 when they're just like, bah, 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 and then there's like another one, and then there are like 3 of them. Like, they're loud. It's not like cute bird sounds. It's like, no. It's like very loud crows.
They're like blue jays. Like there's those really aggressive blue jays that are
They're
so
blue
loud
jays
and...
times 1,000.
Yeah, totally.
Now, hitting a crow and hurting a crow, not cool, ever. Don't ever hurt a bird. Oh my God. I mean, talk about like bad karma. But I will say crows suck.
That being said,
they do. They suck audibly. They're
do.
loud. They're annoying. They're kind of bullies.
They are kind of bullies.
And, so it goes.
Yeah. No, it's true. Actually, the birds are going off right now. Speaking of birds, I mean, springtime and all. And I think they love the sun also. But I mean, every kind of bird you can imagine. I mean, we have lots of robins. We have lots of quail. You've heard me talk about quail ad nauseum. Me too. They're my favorite.
Little baby
and then
quail.
like just these little like sparrows that do this like dance in the sky. And then we have the little finches and we got the blue jays, a variety of blue jays. I mean, it's kind of endless. And then we have like hawks and stuff. Like this morning, the hawks, you see them kind of float on the air, they're because we're like on the ocean. So if it's like yesterday, it was really windy. There were like these pelicans just kind of like bobbing on the wind, and then this morning there was a hawk that came so close to my window. I've never seen them come that close. It was majestic.
I was on a hike with Otis the dog last weekend, and it wasn't like crazy early, but like pretty early. And there were some people who
someone outside honking.
Yeah. My neighborhood is just on one right now.
Yeah, totally.
Clearly. When we were hiking, there were some people coming, from the other direction, and they're like pointing at the sky. So I'm like, what's going on? Is there an alien or, what's going on? And they were like, look at that bird. And I'm like, it's a hawk. And they were like, no way. It's a hawk? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's pretty standard. I mean, hawks are cool. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think they're cool too. But like, they were just like, never seen a bird that big. And I'm like, well, okay. I mean, a bald eagle is going to blow your mind. But okay, have a nice walk.
What really blows my mind is when I see, because this is like a bird sanctuary, this whole area. There's like there's a bay that's like, I mean, it's like legit like bird sanctuary. And like these blue herons, you see them like, on the water, and the egrets. There's tons of egrets. But when you see a blue heron, That is a majestic sight to see. It never gets
really
old for
is.
me. I'm like, wow. Or I love the one of my favorites is the Canadian geese when they fly overhead and they're honking. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it almost as much as the fat quail. But yeah. Oh, I wanted to mention, Sarah.
I mean,
really
a
quick
mother
that-
quail and her little babies crossing the street. Don't even get me started.
I know. I mean,
You know,
could there
I
be
will lay
anything
down my
cuter? I
life
just don't know. I
for
will
that.
too. I will lay down on the road and get run over. If you pull a feather on one of those guys, I will lay down my life. But yeah, it's funny. I got this. I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want to blow up his spot. But there's a guy we used to work with in TV a long time ago. I'll tell you offline his name, but.
Yep.
He never we follow each other on Instagram. I don't know if he listens to the show, but if you do, hi.
Hey.
But he just sent me a DM about this Bitcoin money he just made, and I'm like, and it's like there was no context. It was just like I just put here's the transaction to my Wells Fargo 21,000 or whatever. I made this money on Bitcoin.
Was
and
it
felt
like a
scam?
Yeah. Like, was he
I was like,
hacked?
what? No, he's like literally like you should totally hit up my friend. I just made this money. And I'm like, why after all these years, like we never talk, but you're like DMing me individually. Like that seems like something you would just like ping to your friends as a group. It's just very strange. At first I was like,
strange is a nice way to put it. That's weird.
I know, kind of weird. And then I keep getting these, you got to be really careful though. I think my point is that I was immediately skeptical because I knew it was him. So I know him.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
yeah.
okay, but this
he's your
feels
friend.
spammy. Yeah. But then I had gotten another, what I think is spam about, some representative from like a jewelry company wanting to like have me wear their jewelry and they'll send me some free stuff if I wear it, take pictures or whatever. And I Googled it. It's like blah, blah, blah scam. It's like, you really have to be careful these days because it's getting so much more sophisticated. But anyway,
I mean, even okay. So like the jewelry situation, even if it's not a scam, even if you're like, okay, they did send me this jewelry, but now I have to like hawk it.
I know. Like, what do I do?
Like that's
take some
like,
glamour
who
shots?
wants to do that? That's
no.
I mean, unless you like, it's your company or like a very, very dear friend's company where, maybe you have, some equity, like all this stuff is just
like a
crazy.
neck model or like a wrist model or like, like, sure. Yeah. I'll get paid for that. I mean,
I can't tell you how many people have been like, hey, Sarah, how have you been? Crypto. So like, let me tell you about like an NFT you should buy. And I'm like, luck.
I bet you get that a lot.
Luck.
I really bet you get that a lot. You probably get way more stuff than I do because you're much more
it's not,
on
and
the
like
internet
again,
than I am.
like not everybody who does that, I think is like a terrible person. I mean, some people I'm like, I don't even know you.
They're
like,
hustling.
A few. But like
Everybody's gotta
there are
hustle.
sometimes friends where I'm like, okay, I get your hustle, but like I can't be a part of this.
I don't have time. Like, and then I
No.
was like, I don't know much about Bitcoin. Like, I mean, I'm like, I don't know about Bitcoin. Like, I do investments. Like, I'm savvy.
I don't blame you, Heather.
but
I mean, it's
I'm just like, I don't have time. And then he's like, oh, well, you really should learn. Call my guy, blah, blah, blah. And it's like,
oh my
I
God.
don't know if I'm going to do that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to look for a high yield investment account and call it a day. But yeah, that was interesting. But yeah, so I wanted to mention, I in last week's episode, I talked about loving or hating or love hating where you live. I grouse a lot about where I live. I'm sure that y'all listen to me all the time about it, and I'm sure that and I have friends who do the same about where they live, and they live in different places. So a lot of you wrote in. Thank you. It was a triggering subject, and it was really cool to hear your thoughts. So I wanted to share a few from our Discorders for the most part. So I just thought it was really interesting to hear about other people's perspectives, and these people live around the world. There's a really big variety of places. So JMac wrote in response to the latest episode, and they say, I like where I live. When I was younger, I definitely had the grass is always greener mindset, but now I appreciate what my area has to offer. It's mid-sized, not too far from larger airports. I love being a couple hours drive from the beach and even closer to the mountains. My grown children live in, I guess, North Carolina, NC, but chose larger cities. They think it's boring here. I feel very fortunate. I didn't have a complete say in where we decided to live, but was pretty proactive in finding a job that I liked here. And then Damien wrote in and said, as the representative from Geneva that was referenced in the latest podcast, Geneva, Switzerland, I have to say that this area is pretty nice. Sitting between the lake and the mountains, we deliberately chose this area to move to in 2003, partly because of the environment, but also because we wanted the kids to grow up bilingual, which, gosh, I think that's something I would have done if I had kids. Downsides to the area include the fact that it is ridiculously expensive. Also, some people might not like the Swiss mindset, although the fact that there's like a German speaking part, a French speaking part where he lives, and an Italian speaking part mitigates this, since they can be quite different, and you got variety there. All in all, it's very good here. And I try to remind myself and our boys not to take it for granted. Although I think your mindset helps. I'm sure some people could be miserable anywhere. Very good point, Damien. And I think when I have a case of the Mondays, that's when, the cloud cover bothers me, and you can blame everything on the weather, and you can blame everything on your geography. But yeah, for the most part, I think it's important to not take places for granted. There's probably something good with where you are, and you kind of have to hold on to that. And last but not least, from our buddy Mike M, as far as liking or disliking where we live, I definitely have highs and lows living in Phoenix. For about 2/3 of the year, the weather is great, and I do all that I can to enjoy it. Exercise, being outside, having the house opened up, etc. Unfortunately, the other third of the year is miserable to brutal. The summer temps are no joke, and we are sadly heading into them. It started to hit me this week as we had a couple of days at like just over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I hate feeling stuck inside, having the curtains closed to try to keep the heat out, and all the other things I've learned to do to make it somewhat tolerable. My coping mechanism largely are around remembering the good weather, planning at least one trip out of town during the bad months, and just looking at it as my hibernation time where I sit inside, watch movies, and enjoy ice cold cocktails. And I related to that a lot, Mike, because, I have at least a quarter of the year, or a third maybe, that isn't easy, but it's not boiling hot. I have the opposite problem. It doesn't get that cold, but it can get really rainy and stormy and wet and damp and all those things. So you kind of have to like sort of mark it as like my hibernation time, read some books, study, do inside fun. And I think when you have that attitude, and maybe when you try to remind yourself of that, when that time comes and you have to be inside for months on end, and plan some trips. I'm trying to get ahead of the winter already. I'm planning something for December, just to break up the monotony. But all this being said, I have a follow-up question for y'all out there listening. I read something recently about classifying people by coasts. I really like this. This I've really related to. So basically what I want to know from you guys, like, what's your preferred terrain? Are you a beach person? Are you a canyon person? Are you a valley person? Are you a mountain person? Or even a town person, like somebody who likes being able to walk places, even if maybe you never do. And obviously there's nuances, like you might be like a canyony mountain person or a town beach person, obviously. But I want to know what is your preferred terrain? Because for me, I would say that I'm a canyon person. I do miss the desert a lot, but I really enjoy like the dimension of living in a canyon where you can see the other hill, and there's a lot of shadows and light variations because of those hills. I love cliffside views. I do like trees. I prefer not tall trees. I don't really want to live like in a forest. I'm a little bit in a forest here. I don't love that. I kind of prefer like a lower lying kind of mountainous area. Not too far from the beach though, because I'm a California girl at heart. I don't like to be too far away. But email us at hi@havesuchagoodday.com. I'd love to hear about your preferred train. And Sarah, I think I know you, but why don't you divulge? What do you say your preferred train is?
I love the beach more than anything. I also don't like being in the sun very much. So I like beach.
Ironically,
and
you love
also
LA.
shade.
Yeah, a shady beach,
Like,
which
I just,
isn't
like-
that common.
And like, just so everybody, understands, like when I was, I don't know, in high school through like college, I like fried myself in the sun. I paid to go to tanning salons. I did this. I just, now when I'm in the sun, I'm like, I want to be in the sun for like an hour, maybe.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like, I would like a nice umbrella. But I would say that, if I had to pick the absolute perfect, it's beach and hill. Because I love a good hill.
Yeah.
Love a good mountain. I just want to climb the mountain. It feels so good on my quads. And that's what I'm saying.
I love your answer, Sarah. And I thought maybe you would say something about being a townie because you like to like walk to a cafe and that kind of thing.
I feel like don't I have to live in Boston to be a townie?
I guess so.
But yes,
Walk
I am
to
a
an
townie
AM/PM.
at heart. If anyone wants to get a hold of us, you have options. hi@havesuchagoodday.com is the way that you can email us. We love your emails. We love your feedback. Please keep it coming. And we mentioned Patreon on the show. You might be a patron. And if you are, thank you so much. If you would like to consider becoming a patron, patreon.com/havesuchagoodday is where you can find out more about directly supporting our show. You don't have to. You can, everything's free. But if you like an ad-free experience and just kind of want to be part of the crew, then that is what we're thinking would be great for you. You have options. That's the deal.
But I wanted to do before we wrap up the show, I wanted to quickly shout out 2120 South Michigan Avenue, one of our patrons. Oh, and Millie the Tortie and Kyle the Tuxedo Kitties. We love you. You know who you are.
You're furry and adorable, and we love you.
Very much so. And from, I've never known how to pronounce this, but I know it's our buddy Tom, Ace Tech. Yeah. He commented on the AMPM.
It's just like a guy, like who.
Oh, he's an Ace Tech. Oh, got it. Okay, cool. He's an Ace Tech. He's a very clever guy. He says,
yeah.
I have good news. I poked around and found out that Power Market PM is a different chain than AM/PM. This is something we talked about in last week's episode, if you missed it. So there's not a name change, but it sounds like Power Market took over an AM/PM location. Confusing, but AM/PM still has its AM. Oh, Tom, you and your sleuthing.
Oh my gosh. First of all, this is why Tom Merritt is the best person ever. Second, this is for anyone who's like, what are you talking about? An AM/PM gas station that I went to the other morning, like at 7, like I'm not really awake yet. But I needed gas. Thought I might, get some coffee while I'm at it. Not the best coffee in the world, but not the worst. But I was like, what the heck is this?
I love that he
PM
did
thing?
research. I love Tom.
Yeah.
I want Tom to be more incorporated into the conversation here. So Tom, if you're listening, and I know he listens sometimes, right?
You heard it here.
Or is he an avid listener?
I don't really know. I don't really ask. I don't ask sometimes like you know, like
Did you
Heather,
listen to the latest
do you
show?
do you listen to all my other podcasts? You'd be like, oh, no, sorry. And I'm like,
Not your
"It's okay,
daily,
it's okay."
but I know
mean,
it's great.
that's- Yeah,
I've listened
so
to it
much,
before. It is a lot of content, but
Yeah.
but yes, love Tom, and we're totally making him blush at this point. But yes, love when he chimes in on the Discord because it's not that often, and I just really appreciate hearing from him. And really, I mean, I think that's about it for today's show. I hope you got what you wanted, and I think we did. We had some technical issues, but you probably won't be able to tell because
hopefully
we used the magic of
hopefully
editing.
you didn't I mean, between my story of the kid killing a crow and, you know, just like general, I don't know, every day is a fresh
It
hell.
really can
really
be. You know,
is.
it's funny. Elijah says the same thing. He says every day is a new shit show. Just if you know that, and you know that going in, that like there's a
then
possibility for a shit show,
like
you
don't
accept it.
you don't have to like go sideways every day.
Yes,
You
exactly.
just have to know that things are going to get hard.
Yes, they are.
And then you just have to like deal
you got to
with
take it in
that.
stride. You got to let it roll off your back. You know, you got to take a deep breath and be zen about it. Because if not, you're going to cry. This is why I laugh. And this is why when I observe all this chaos, I try to find the humor in it because there really is. It's kind of a joke sometimes. I mean, I didn't even tell you about the story, and I'm not going to get into it. Maybe next week I'll share it with you. We had the guest from hell at our Airbnb. I didn't even tell you about it, Sarah, because I was so wiped out from telling the story that I didn't have it in me. But you'll love this story. It's so great. So maybe I'll save it for next week.
I'm sure I can relate.
Yeah, total bitch from hell. But anyway, on that note, we love you all so much. Thank you so much for listening and being part of our crew with a K. And
Indeedy.
next week we'll be back with episode 240. I'll have to do some research on that number. But in the meantime, I will be Heather forever.
And I will remain Sarah.
Have such a good day, y'all.
Have such a good day.
And be nice to animals.
talk to y'all next week.
Okay, bye. All right, moving on.
Moving on. Um